The greatest power you possess is your ability to choose. Join Lowe's Moore as he reveals how you can begin to maximize that power by exploring yourself on the deepest levels and committing to making lasting and positive changes. Get ready to achieve breakthroughs that will lead to accelerated growth and transformation, because you are now tuned in to the Blueprint.
Why the actions contradict the lamb. I'm fellowshipping when I'm with the fam. That's more relations.
Good evening and welcome back to Lowe's Moore and the Blueprint. Man, it's good to be back home for about a week or so. Of course, we were on vacation. When you retired, I guess you're always on vacation, but family went on vacation and we were in North Carolina. It was great to be able to broadcast from Fayetteville, North Carolina last week during the holidays. I hope you guys enjoyed your 4th of July, your Independence Day. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you spend a lot of time with the family. I hope you share some wonderful and powerful memories. And I know it was a tough year. Of course, last year we missed 4th of July, or we missed our annual family get together in North Carolina. So this was like a reprieve, and I was excited to be able to be back together as a family and safe. And then to make it back home was awesome too. And so, tonight I want to get started. I'm sorry for the delay. We had some technical difficulties at the beginning of the show, and so we started a little late. So sorry for the inconvenience. And I want to jump right in. And this again is my, you can't really see it because I have it in the wrong hand, but over here, right, this is my seed, where it's really a little miniature basketball, but it is my pebble, right? And each show I drop this in the pond like I just did, and I'm expecting a very powerful and ripple effect of each show, because the guests that I have been so awesome, so transparent, man. And I hope that you have gathered enough revelation, enough information to be able to begin to design your blueprint for your life, or research or pray about what it is that God's plan and assignment is for your life, and start to develop your vision and your blueprint for your future. And so we're excited tonight. So we want to jump right into it. And I want to start out with the book of the week. This was a book that I purchased for my son Isaiah, and I had an opportunity to also take a look at it. Lecrae, Unashamed, awesome book. If you're a busy person, right, you can also get it for your cell phone. You can get it as an audio, and you can listen to the book, or you can gift it to your son or daughter. It is an awesome read, an awesome testimony about a life transforming story about Lecrae and his upbringing. And it is just a very powerful book. And, every week, I give you a book of the week, and you should be building your library. Everybody should have a library in their house. Most people ask, how come that rich people have libraries in their homes, right? And middle class people and people of low income have no library in their home, right? I say that you should have a library at whatever level you're in. You should start your library, because in starting your library, you start to build your future, all right? You start to build towards your dream, and reading is a key. It's very key. Reading and comprehension is so powerful and so important. And then my next is the word of the week, which is music. Man, what would we do without music? It says sound. When you look at the definition, it talks about sound, it talks about rhythm, it talks about harmony, right? And man, you can listen to some music, it could drive you nuts. I mean, it could put you into a frenzy, right? And you heard me talk about on the show plenty of times about sound, You also heard me talk about frequency, and you heard me talk about vibration. Well, music and words and movies have sounds, frequencies, and vibration. If you listen to the wrong music, it can change your vibration for something negative. But if you listen to the right music, right, it can put you in the right mindset, and it can put you in a relaxed mindset. And that's why I love listening to praise and worship music, because it puts me in a mindset that causes me to relax and causes me to calm down. Right? They say music soothes soothes the beast. Right? And you remember, if you look in the Bible, man, David was a musician, right? And he played, right, for the king, right, when the king was angered. It said that music changed the king's frequency and vibration. So very powerful word, very powerful gift that God has given us, the gift of music, and we're truly thankful for it. And then our Hill and Pierce Harper affirmation quote moment of the week: I am worthy of health, wealth, and love. I mean, you should have a lot of these affirmations when you wake up in the morning. You should just start talking to yourself. I am worthy of health. I am worthy of wealth, and I'm definitely worthy of love. Man, speak those affirmations to yourself. And then I added this in this second season: music and movie of the week. And the music of the week is none other than Quincy Jones. If you know the greatness of Michael Jordan, not Michael Jordan, but Michael Jackson. If you know the greatness of Michael Jackson, you have only this man who was his mentor, his producer, and produced one of the top selling albums ever. And Quincy Jones has his own music, but one of my favorite songs of all time, What Good is a Song if it doesn't, the name of it is What Good is a Song. And the lyric says, what good is a song if it can't move you? What good of a song if you can't feel it? Right? What good is a song if it can't change you? Right? I love that. I love that. I love that album, and I love that particular song. And then I got a lot of favorite movies, as you know, I'm a movie buff, but August Rush is one of my favorite movies, man. I don't know if you've seen this before. I don't even know if it's a true story, but every time I see it on television, I have to stop and look at it. Check out August Rush. I mean, it is just an awesome, awesome movie. And I'm looking forward to the curiosity conversation. We're going to start out with the curiosity conversation tonight, which is going to be cool, and it has something to do with our guests. And so I want to just continue to keep moving forward. I want to have a congratulations to Haley and Aaron. Man, Haley married Aaron. Aaron's a Moore, right? We were joking with them on last week. She was on when I had Bob Huggins on the show, the coach of the West Virginia basketball team, and she's the niece of one of my best friends, Joe Frizz, who passed away from ALS a few years ago, man. Just my best friend. She was a little sad that he wasn't going to be at the wedding, but we tried to encourage her during the podcast a few weeks ago. It was my pleasure to do that show. And man, I love her mom. I love Haley, and I wish all the best. I wish all the best to Aaron and Haley. And also happy anniversary. Last week was my daughter Michelle and Dakari's second anniversary. Man, I don't know. That went so fast. That was like lightning. Can you imagine? It's 2 years now. It just felt like it was just a few days ago. But I want to wish them a happy anniversary and many more. And also, I want to do a birthday shout out. I got some nieces, right? There go Destiny, Daisha, and Janessa. I want to say happy birthday to you guys. This is your birthday shout out from your Uncle Lowe's. And love you guys, man. Hey, and you're going to have many, many more. Yeah, love you. And coming up on the BluePrint podcast, I can't wait. Chris, I got my man Chris Asinall. He's the professional golfer. And I'm looking forward to that because I'm trying to learn about this game of golf, man. I had the privilege of playing with Chris a couple of times, man. He's awesome, man. And I didn't know it was too many black golfers, but I remember Calvin Pete was one of professional golfer, and then there was another one I met at the same golf tournament, and then Chris is going to be on next week, man. It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. And then I'm also looking forward to Pastor Jeffrey Willer. Man, he has an awesome story. God bless him, man. Hey, he was on his way out of here. He had stage 4 cancer. And, man, he is doing awesome. I remember, having an opportunity to pray with him and a group of my men in the hospital and many people that prayed for him. And, man, look what God can do. So I'm looking forward to talking to him about his experience and what God is doing for him right now. And I'm excited about it. And then, on August the 1st, yours truly is going to be inducted into the Upstate Basketball Hall of Fame on August the 1st. So I don't know when the show is going to be. I don't know if we're going to be on July the 31st or August the 1st, but we're going to do something. I don't know if I'm going to do it. Maybe I'll have a guest host. And, I'm looking forward to the honor. You don't get these honors by yourself, right? You get so many people to be thankful for. My first coach, my parent, my mother, particularly, and coaches and my teammates, man. I wouldn't be there without them. So I'm truly thankful to them and excited about what's going to happen on that show as well. And then my good friend, Dr. Randy Clark from the Global Awakening Ministries. I'm looking forward to him, man. I've seen God move in Randy's life and moving on through him to people. And I saw so many different healings, so many signs, wonders, and miracles with Randy. I'm looking forward to that conversation, man. Don't miss that. It's going to be an awesome time. And so, I want to jump right into this, and I want to show you my guest tonight. I want to show you a video, and then I want to jump right into a conversation with him.
Well, somebody sing something. Do Lord.
Come on here.
Oh, do Lord.
Yes.
Lord, remember me. Yeah. Do Lord. Do Lord. Do Lord. Remember me. Lord, remember me. I know you want to. Do Lord. Do Lord. Do Lord. Lord, remember me. My help coming on here. Away, away, the blue, beyond my blue. Say it one more time. Do Lord, do Lord, do Lord, do Lord. Lord, remember me. Lord, remember me. Yeah. Do Lord, do Lord, do Lord. Remember me. Lord, remember me. Yeah. Do Lord. Do Lord, remember me. Lord, remember me. Away beyond the.
Oh man, I like that. That's awesome. And I want to welcome to the show Milton Vann. I call him gifted. Yeah, when I think about you, I think about somebody just gifted. And of course, I've known you for a very, 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 very long time. And it is my great pleasure to have you on the show tonight.
It's my honor to be here. This is the Mr. Lowe's Moore. It's kind of weird calling you Lowe's now because you know me since I was a little tyke, and you always been Mr. Moore to me. So, but it's an honor. It's an honor to be here. Finally, we get a chance to catch up.
Yeah. I was saying to myself, man, about like for 3 years, I've been trying to get in contact with you. And I was like, man, I think I could get in touch with President Obama when he was in. before I could get in touch with Milton. I was trying to think of what I did wrong. I said maybe I did something. Maybe I said something.
Nah, you didn't. You didn't do nothing.
You
didn't do anything.
And I know you didn't. I know I didn't do anything. And I know that, man, God has blessed you, man, and you've been, just traveling around and just doing God's work, and and I've enjoyed it. Really, I really truly enjoy it. And I'm gonna have Michelle join me right now. She's gonna join me.
Oh, y'all trying to catch me?
Yeah, yeah. We trying to catch you, and we got one more person, but we wanted to have a little conversation. This is what I consider. I usually don't start the curiosity conversation out in the front, but I wanted to start it from the beginning. And see, yeah, curiosity. Now, I want to find out in this conversation, because I noticed something that I became curious about. Right? Okay. When did the comedian stuff come? The comedy. I mean, I've seen so many things on Facebook. I've enjoyed them, but I've known you to be gifted, as a person, as a singer. But when did the comedy come in?
Man, first of all, I don't consider myself to be a comedian at all. Every now and again, I have a moment that happens to be funny to some people. You know what I mean? But I've never pursued a career or anything like that in comedy. I don't think I'm funny enough. So if I try to be funny, it ain't gonna work. So, I just enjoy the moment whenever it shows up.
Whenever it shows up. What did you think Milton was funny growing up?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We had some very interesting moments at the Boys and Girls Club that I remember just laughing hysterically. And like you said, I don't think he was trying to be funny. It just was. It just
Lord
was.
Jesus. Y'all got me with
you're
this.
Natural. You're a natural.
Oh my gosh. Y'all got me on this one. What can I say?
Well, just hold on. I'm gonna show you something. We got another video of you.
Oh no!
So we're gonna show you this quick video. You being a comedian, having a moment.
Having a moment.
Having a moment.
It is.
Yeah, having a moment.
It's me having.
Come on, teacher. You see that? You get this applicator. The problem now is Generation Next application.
Yes.
You just want to get to the fast part.
Yeah.
You got to apply. You got to go through the dirty stuff. You got to go through the muck and the mire. You got to go through the process.
Yes.
My God, get it in there.
Yo, that face.
See that? Hand me the shoe, son. My God.
Hand me the shoe, son.
It looks beat down. It looks battered. It looks torn. It's what's underneath. That's what's going on. See, it's got to look dull. You got to look dull before you can look shiny. Ho! Man, you look at it. Look at that brush, son. Hallelujah. Let it dry. Let it get on there for a minute. Let it cake. Gotta get yourself a good grip on there. Jesus. Don't let it fall.
Idiot.
And then, you need to go. Look at that.
You blocking the camera.
Excuse me. Huh? Look at that. I said, look at that. Put that on your foot. You govern yourselves accordingly.
Oh man, you just had a moment, right?
We was backstage at a show. We was doing something. Reverend Roger Hambrick, Lady Vanessa Hambrick. We was all back there. Malik, this is back in the Livray days, and we were getting ready to do something for somebody, and we had like an hour or two to kill. And they wanted to shine their shoes, and they were like, Milton, you don't know how to shine. I said, I don't know how to shine no shoe. You better believe I know how to shine a shoe. And it just turned into this production, and it fell into something. But again, if I tried to do that on purpose, it would fall apart. It would work.
Oh man, I got, you know what? I got a visitor for you. I got Michael Jackson backstage.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Oh man,
nobody but that Charlie Clayton.
Yeah. So now the three of you in our summer program.
Yes, sir.
Right in the back of the game room.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're supposed to be having church, but you had Michael Jackson and you had everything there. So what did y'all think? Charlie, as the music program director.
So much freedom.
I don't even know where to begin with Charlie. I really don't even know. I know that we were heavy into John P. Key at the time.
I need to be on a phone call, but I'm not finished yet. So,
and of course, Charlie is talking to somebody. But we were heavy into John P. Key at the time, and somebody, I think Michelle, you correct me if I'm wrong. I think we were talking about the He'll Welcome Me album had like just came out, and we would in there singing "Show Up" and "He'll Welcome Me" and and Charlie would sit there on that broken piano, that broken upright piano, with nails coming out the bottom, and we had church in there for real.
It was real church.
Yeah. It was real church.
It wasn't no play church.
Yeah.
No.
But you had the audience. We had all the kids in the room with you, all the kids from the camp. Well, you guys are kids. You're young people yourself.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, can you give me a little? Can you give me a little throwback?
A throwback.
Charlie, can you give me a little throwback? I know you're in the parking lot.
Charlie can do it.
Definitely, Charlie.
Can y'all give me a little throwback? A little melody? Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you start with the church and get into Michael Jackson. I don't know how y'all went from church to Michael Jackson, but
that's natural for Charlie too.
Well,
natural.
I know that when we were a part of the camp, I think because of our involvement in church, we just automatically took the church to wherever we went.
Uh-oh.
Right?
Michael's breaking up.
I agree.
Yeah, you're still here. You're breaking up a little bit, but can y'all give me a little melody for y'all pop off?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know y'all got something good.
Charlie the one with the melody. He got the melody.
No.
Yeah, Milton, you might have to start us off.
Charlie got to stop moving.
Charlie.
We're going to lose Michael Jackson. Oh, yeah. Well, okay. Can y'all give us something that Charlie was trying to do?
I can't think of what were the big songs that Charlie would teach every year.
Oh,
More Than a Holiday. That was every year.
Every year is More Than a Holiday.
I love that song.
Go ahead.
Absolutely love that song.
Help Is on the Way. That was another one that was.
So give us a little bit of a holiday.
Wait, Help Is on the Way. What was that?
That was
That's from
Voices of Emmanuel, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, help is on the way. That. Oh, okay. That was the
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
So, More Than a Holiday. Go ahead.
You got it, Reverend. You're the music director.
No, I don't know the key. More than a. Right. So you got more than a holiday. More than nice. Michelle got the high note. Come on.
Oh no,
Michelle,
y'all!
go.
I don't sing soprano no more.
Shine away more than a
Christmas star, more than just a mistletoe.
Until us a child is born, until us son is given.
Something like that.
Something like that. Unto us Emmanuel has come, chance for all mankind to be forgiven. A change in me is made. I am saved today.
See, Christmas to me is
more than a holiday.
You see,
that was terrible, but okay.
More
than a holiday.
Keep Jesus.
Oh, that was it. That's the part.
Your Christmas. And you're always.
And you'll always have a happy holiday.
Something like that.
Here we go. Keep Jesus.
Keep Jesus.
It's a delay.
In your Christmas.
Hey, and you're always.
And you'll always have a happy holiday.
It's a delay. We can't sing harmony.
Yeah, the delay.
Yeah, we can't.
That's all right, though. Me trying to be Hezekiah Walker, right, Milton? And
Yeah.
Oh,
and Milton laying us all out on the floor. I saw a video recently of Milton laying people out at his family gathering. That was very similar to what used to happen in our church services. We used to get laid out in service.
How old were you guys?
And whatever we did in that service, Michelle, we brought it right to the Boys and Girls Club.
Absolutely. We were.
But you know what?
7.
You know what, Lowe's? The thing about it is we were playing around, but it was crazy that the presence of the Lord was there. And like you gave us the opportunity to be free. You know, there was no structure to what, you know, really would happen as far as the singing. You just wanted the kids to be able to enjoy, you know, singing, period. So we did a lot of things, Michael Jackson, but the church thing was just, it was crazy. And a lot of kids were actually being blessed right in that environment at the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
I was going to say that also, like, look at where we are now, right? Pastor Milton Vann, who has, you know, 2 albums now, like 3, I think 1 on the way, right? I'm just speaking it into existence. Trying to be prophetic over here. And so I feel like without that we were talking today about foundation, like we had a foundation that caused us to stay in alignment, even though we might have strayed. We're back and we're better than ever. So like, grateful for it.
And the influence too, you know, like when you went out, Michelle, you brought people with you. Milton brought people with him. You know, I brought people, and now to see later on the people that we latched on to, they're still in ministry and preaching and elevating. You know, it's just tremendous what the Lord, you know, allowed to happen over those years. And when we reflect and now look at it, you know, currently.
Yeah, but I wanted this moment, you know, the curiosity moment, because you could see that it wasn't just strained in regards to being at the Boys and Girls Club. It was fun. I mean, and everybody had an opportunity to have their moment to be funny, right, without being criticized, and just to have a good time. And I think that's what the camp was all about, and to give them a variety, because, like I said earlier, music can put you in a place, a bad place, right, or it can put you in a good place, and you guys put all those young people that were sitting around watching you guys play church and play Michael Jackson and all the other songs that you got them to sing. They were always in a good place, and they look forward to coming back every day. You know, and when you left, Charlie, it was a big hole. And and once we lost you in music, it was just a big hole. We did good, but we could have been great. You made it, and you guys made it great. So I want to say thank you guys for popping on. Man, I love you guys, man, and thanks a lot.
We love you too.
Yes, sir.
Michelle, so good to see you.
I know, so good to see you both.
Yes. Milton, you at home or are you around?
I'm around. I got a sleep study tonight, so I'm out this way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I would have known. I would have told you to come to the restaurant. We could have been live at New Rochelle Diner.
Oh, good.
Nah. We could have been choppy at New Rochelle Diner.
Right.
All right.
Thanks, Lo.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Charlie, Michelle.
All right.
Look, there you go.
Where do y'all find these photos, Lord?
Oh, they on your stuff. Oh man! Before we get started, I want to say this, man. That your albums, I have, both of them, and probably out of all the music I listen to you the most.
Really,
and I always tell people not during the course of the pandemic, but over the last 3 or 4 years of my 3 years of my career at the Boys and Girls Club before retirement. I think everybody gets into a place where they're having some challenges, right? And when you wake up in the morning, and especially when you're doing God's work, the enemy is always trying to attack, particularly your mind. And I was having some moments, back a few years ago, and I had just downloaded my life, and one of the things I could say, since I didn't know if you knew this or not, but since you were young, you had an anointing on your life, right? And I felt that every time we came in contact, me as the executive director of the Boys and Girls Club and you as a member of the club, I always felt that anointing in your life, man. And I always felt like you were going to do something special, and you have. And I listened to the thing that cleared my mind as I was going to work was Marvelous. Every morning I get in my car, and that's the first song. Boom.
Wow.
And it would just clear my head and get me centered, and all your songs have an anointing on them, and they have been truly a blessing in my life.
Wow. Wow. Thank you very, very. That means a lot to me coming from you, man. I figured out that I could sing at the Boys and Girls Club. I'm serious. Like Geneva Dendy, had a little children's choir at the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
And gave me my first solo, said, you try this, and I sang it. And that was the first time that I can remember ever feeling good singing a song. Like, okay, wait a minute. I think I might have something here. Yeah. And, I didn't know what I was doing or anything like that, but I felt like this was something that was, that I should have been doing. And it was there at the Boys and Girls Club. You know what I mean? You, Coleman, Miss Brown, so it was a blessing.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're glad that we could be present to be like Geneva and myself and Mr. Jones and Mr. Coleman, because that was one of the most important things about the club, because it was where I found my niche.
Mm.
You know, and when you get introduced to things, you don't know what it is, that gifting inside, you don't know what it is, right? And you have multiple gifts, right? There are people who are athletic, but yet they can sing, or they can dance, or they can do, you know. So the responsibility of the Boys and Girls Club was to bring that out, and for you to find something you could hang your hat on, you know, and move you forward. So, man, when you and Michelle were singing, and Charlie, you know, when he was doing the whole music thing, the people that came forward to sing, right, we noticed right away, man, that there was a calling and a gifting there, and an anointing. So yeah. So I want to jump right in. Well, we already in it, but you know, to talk about, you know, because there's three important questions I focus on in regards to the podcast. And number one is the importance of family. Number two, well, the third one should be first, but I'll start with the first two: importance of family, importance of education, and importance of faith. So take me through growing up, you know, mom, dad, siblings, and, you know, walk me through that. And, you know, my wife was saying Psalms 51. You know, yeah, I got a lot
Wow.
of songs. I got a lot of them I really enjoy, you know. But
Wow.
so take me through.
South side of Mount Vernon, 6 Madison Street between Franklin and Union. That's where I lived. My mother and my father, you know, they were divorced, you know, early in my childhood. And so it was just my mom and the four of us. Oh man, y'all going way back with these photos. Woo! But yeah, me and my three sisters, or three of my sisters, and you know, Chanel was the brainiac. You know, she was always reading a book, had her head buried in a book somewhere. Danielle was actually the singer of the family. Danielle was always singing. And Crystal was the dancer. You know, she was in the Revelators and all that stuff. And I was just, you know, a knucklehead, you know. And there's Mama Girl. So when I found, you know, the Boys and Girls Club, and actually when I first came to the Boys and Girls Club, they had just switched it over. When I got there, it was the Boys Club.
Yes.
And they had switched it over to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Because, you know, my sister was a Girl Scout, and I was the only boy. And Mom said, I'm gonna send it to the Boys Club. We're gonna send it to the Boys Club. And a year later, here come the Boys and Girls Club, and now all my sisters are here. You know.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's looking back in retrospect, man, it's funny because my niece, my eldest sister's daughter, just turned 13.
Wow.
And we were all, you know, gathered around, you know, the table, just chilling and hanging out, all of the siblings together, and, you know, just talking and, you know, kicking it, I guess. And it was just very weird because we don't get a chance to do that very often now because we're all spread abroad. You know, I'm in Long Island, Crystal's in North Carolina, Chanel's in, you know, White Plains, Danielle in Sleepy Hollow. She's a nurse practitioner. And so it's just, you know, we're all over the place. And it was just good to kind of come together for just a minute, catch up, and see that some things never change. You know, our love for one another never changed. Our ability to support one another and be happy about each other's happiness, you know, and, you know, be sad when the others are sad, you know. I think that's super, super important. Regardless of the dynamic of your family, I think it's super important to be connected to your family, because at the end of the day, that's supposed to be the constant. You know, people change, times change, but, you know, things are not supposed to change so much that your family can't be with you and for you.
Mm.
So, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my family. I really am.
Yeah. And take me through some of the educational experiences.
It started in middle school. I took piano lessons before then, but in middle school at Franco Middle School in Mount Vernon, that's back when there was a Franco Middle School. um, Miss Miller was the chorus teacher. Mr. Stamboni was the band teacher. Um, um, I was in drama there. I was in the orchestra. I was in the band. I was in the chorus.
Right.
So that was it was a performing arts magnet school, but I was all up in the performing arts magnet, the department. And so I played cello in the orchestra, I played saxophone and then clarinet in the band. And before you knew it, I was the accompanist for the middle school chorus.
Mm.
Miss Miller had retired, and then Miss Beth Jennings Eager had joined the staff there, and she kind of like took me under her wing, taught me piano, taught me how to accompany myself. At the time, I Believe I Can Fly by
Yes.
a very famous artist who I won't name right now.
Yeah.
But I got up in front of all of my peers, in the auditorium, some, I don't know, 500-600 peers, and sang I Believe I Can Fly while accompanying myself. And that was when I realized, I was like, oh snap, this is what I want to do. And we was away on Christmas tour. We was away on Christmas break. I was at my godmother's house, and I saw the Boys Choir of Harlem on PBS or Fox News or whatever it was. And I looked out there and I was like, oh shoot, like I want to do that. And I came back, I had my piano lesson with Miss Eager, and she was like, why are you so distracted? What's going on? I said, I keep thinking about this choir that I saw on TV. You should have seen them. I kept going, I said, the Boys Choir Harlem, Boys Choir Harlem. She said, oh, yeah, I know about that. I said, yo, I wish I could do that. I wish I could get out of because at the time, I guess anybody could say this, when the only life you've ever known is inside your little town, inside your little, box, the only life I really ever knew really, on a personal level was within the 4 square miles of Mount Vernon, but I had seen this, thing that was like trying to grab at me,
Yeah.
So I said, I just want to speak it. I want to put it in the atmosphere. I want to say it in the air. I want to be in the Boys Choir Harlem. And I didn't know this, but Miss Eager had placed kids in the Metropolitan Opera. She had placed kids on Broadway. She had done a bunch of stuff that I had I just thought she was my middle school chorus teacher. And she said, practice your notes. I'll be right back. She went into the main office, to the principal's office, used his phone, and set up an audition for me to get into the Boys Choir Harlem. And the rest is history. She came in that room and said, I got you an audition on Saturday. I said, you lying. She said, I got you an audition. She said, but you got to pull your grades up. You got to do this, that, and third. And I was like, bet. You know what I mean? I was on the B honor roll that semester. Right?
Yeah.
And pulled it up, and I went and auditioned, had my little tape ready. I was going to sing I Believe I Can Fly. Going to do it. And, I got in, and next thing you know, I was traveling the world, traveling all over the country with 50 other singers, and the rest is history. Last bit about the education. Boys Choir Harlem was another level of musical education for me. They put a lot of emphasis on academia, but also your artistic education was super, super important. I was used to choir rehearsal once a week,
Yeah.
but the Boys Choir Harlem rehearsed every day. Our school day began at 8 o'clock in the morning. We didn't leave school until 4 or 5 o'clock. And if you were in the touring division, you didn't leave the building until 6 p.m. And so it definitely installed a vocal performance discipline in me. that enabled me to kind of pursue some things that I would have never even dared to pursue or dream about had it not been for the tough love that I got there at the Boys Choir Harlem, Tanglewood and Skidmore College and all that. That all came as a result of the Boys Choir Harlem. And then in 2002, you know, I was out of high school. I was done with the Boys Choir Harlem, other than alumni performances. And my church had done a little project with a Brazilian church. And I did all the vocal arrangements for their album. And they said, we want to take you to Brazil to release the album. So that was my first time traveling without the Boys Choir Harlem. And the rest is history. I was like, all right, this is it. I'm never doing nothing else. I'm doing this. And so go ahead.
Yeah, I remember Miss Eager.
Yeah.
And because, you know, I used to spend a lot of time over there at the middle school. And and I remember her telling me that you had gotten in to the boys. And you know what? I mean, you know, when you have kids at the club, right? Mm-hmm. You feel like you're an extended dad.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You know, you're not dad, but you're an extended dad, because when you come in, you know, those four walls, my responsibility for all the kids is to be protective, to guide, to guard, to govern as a father. And so when she told me, I'm you know, just as though you were my son, it was a very super proud moment for me. I was just so floored with you getting in. I was so excited for you, you know, and it is what people don't know. And again, this is interactive. So if you have some questions for Milton, Pastor Vann,
Milton is cool.
the apostle, you know. So, you know, and you got some questions and you want to interact, we can see you at the bottom of the screen. But, you know, please join us in any comments or questions you may have. And I have to say that on the show, I always talk about my grandfather giving me a nugget. Right, so I got a nugget for you. Come over here, boy. You know, and I'm like, I'm looking in his hand for something, you know, but it wasn't. He didn't have anything in his hand. He wanted to say something to me that he thought I needed to know, and it was important. And you know, the updated version is Damon Lillard and Kevin Love dropping dimes, right? So right there, I mean, whoever's listening, and if there's some young people listening, and if there's some parents listening that have children, Milton just, number one, said a number of things, right? He found his niche, he found his passion, right? And then he spoke it, right, into existence. And sometimes you can say it in a prayer, right? We can pray, God, Lord, help us. But sometimes when you verbalize something, right? He verbalized it and he said, I want to be in the Boys Harlem Choir. You know, it occupied his mind. And somebody else caught that, right? And did something about it. If you never say anything, right, about what it is that you want to accomplish, right? I said it. I wanted to be in an NBA, right? And then Mr. Jones and the boys know, I said, I want to be in the NBA. And Mr. Jones said, okay, what are you willing to give up for that? You know, and so you dropped a real dime, a real nugget about speaking your dream, you know, and then following up on it by, you know, and then you get challenged by it. When she did what she did, right? Like when my teacher told me in the 6th grade, I said, I want to play in the NBA. Right. And I asked her, what do I have to do? My gym teacher, what do I have to do to get in the NBA? She said, number one, you got to graduate from elementary school, middle school, high school. You got to go to college. And I started thinking about, man, do I really love basketball? You know, because I was trying to get away from that. So, but it ignited something inside of you when she said, you got to do better grades. Right. All of a sudden, no problem.
Yeah.
right? And so I always say, don't chase the money, but follow the love. When you find something you love to do, you'll never work a day in your life. So,
Man.
um,
I
and
gotta say something there on that,
yeah,
actually, which is something that a lot of people don't know about me. But at that time, man, I had been evaluated. Um, they, told me I had dyslexia. They told me that ADHD. They had put me on Ritalin and then on Adderall. It
ooh,
was a whole thing. Like, I was in the 7th grade taking psych meds, to help me focus and concentrate in school. And I found my niche and got in music. And the next thing I was able to pull up in a lot of areas that I struggled in for a very, very long time, because I had an incentive, because I knew what a large part of my purpose was. And a lot of the challenges that I was having at the time began to dissipate, only because somebody was willing to invest some time and energy and effort into helping me to find out that I love music.
wow. And Geneva Denny, that she made a comment down there. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh wow, we had so much fun at the club. Although I was not musically blessed back then, tapes worked miracles, and that's the truth, because we sang the tapes back then. I remember taking the choir to different nursing homes to perform for them, and they loved it. Sterling, Michelle, and Losey at the time were awesome soloists. I remember that. I remember that. Enjoy being a choir director. Nice seeing you. Same here, Miss Dindy. Good to see you again.
And before we get to some more questions, one and now you're married. I want to talk about your wife and how important it is. In August the 6th, me and my wife will be married 38 years. So I know the importance of marriage. You see, there a couple of my friends got married, Michelle, in their second anniversary. So talk to me about your wife, man.
Um, I met Charlotte at Straight Gate, which was my home church. Her grandfather was my mentor, Pastor Charles Albert, Senior. And at the time, I wasn't thinking about Charlotte. I won't think about her. Her grandfather was like my mentor. I just wanted to be him, pastorally. He had
Right.
such a calm demeanor. He had a grace of being able to deal with people. He was the head chaplain for all correctional facilities in Westchester County. And he was able to kind of just handle the church responsibilities and his civic responsibilities with such a grace. I was like, yeah, I want to spend time with him. I want to spend time with him. And he had seen me through some, mess and foolishness as a young teen and, in my early 20s. And so, it was, that's how I met. It was his granddaughter, Charlotte
Yeah.
is his granddaughter. And let the record show, Charlotte came after me. She
You
came.
you gotta go home, right? You gotta go home. Well, you may
Charlotte
be
came.
home.
She came looking for me. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you very much. All right. But
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, we've been married for 3 years. Last May. It's an uphill journey. Learning another person and learning how to live life with another person. But it's a huge learning experience. If I've learned nothing, it's learning. It's beyond more than compromise, more than anything. It's learning what is important to sacrifice, and
Mm.
learning what is important to let go of in order to live the life that you're called to live. And so, being married to Charlotte has taught me to let go of what's necessary to let go of, so that I can live my best life now.
Awesome, man. Yeah, that's awesome. I think we gotta yeah. Let me tell you something. There's nothing like, because I think the most important thing that my wife and and I had before we even got married was friendship.
Mm.
You know, and for me, friendship and communication are the two most important things. You know, if you don't have friendship and you stop communicating, then there's going to be a problem, and you know, but y- your wife is a relative of my wife.
Uh-huh. I did hear about that.
Yeah, is a cousin, because she related to the Alberts. So and you know, that's awesome, man. And
Yeah.
yeah, and so talk to me a little bit. I there's some things here. Well, let me give you this question. Yeah, give you a couple of questions here, and then
All right.
we're gonna have some individuals pop on. So Anthony T.J. Johnson. I don't know if you know TJ. What's the most valuable lesson you learned while you were on the road?
Mm. Or on tour. I think I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
The I think the most valuable lesson for me, um, while being on the road, it took me a little minute to figure it out. It's more faith based actually, and not music based. I mean, yeah, I learned a whole lot musically and learned a whole lot professionally and all that stuff. But I think what I learned most um, was that um, the life you live off the pulpit, the life that you live when you don't have a mic in your hand, is the most valuable asset when it comes time to evangelize, when it comes time to be an example. The people that I was around, the people that the musicians, the fans, all that kind of stuff, the fans of the artists that I was singing with anyway, I didn't realize it, but they were watching me too. They were watching me too. And it's important to live the life that you preach about, to live the life that you're singing about, or at the very least, be able to strive toward that, to strive for it. And I think that's the most valuable lesson that I've learned so far, and am learning. I'm still learning it.
Yeah.
Being on tour and being a traveling musician.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, it's tough being at home and the testing trials and challenges being at home, right? On the road, it never ends. I mean, you know,
Mm.
yeah, it just new stuff pop up and new challenges, you know, all the time. When you're on road, you know, you know, yeah, it's not home. You know, some people have to sneak up on you at home, but you know, on the road, you gotta be careful.
Yeah, you do.
And somebody named Crystal Moorhead, Milton, why didn't you teach your sister how to sing? Kidding. So proud of you to be on, I guess, on the podcast from the Boys and Girls Club under Mr. Moore. I guess it's Mr. Moore's leadership.
Yeah.
You know Crystal is.
Yeah, I know who Chrissy is. I know Chrissy. That's the Irish twin.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, good stuff. That's my good old sister.
Yeah, so I seen a few questions about your experience with Darlene Love.
I met Darlene, believe it or not, at Straight Gate. She was a member of Straight Gate. I was worship leader there, and at the time that I started singing for Darlene, I was singing for a gospel artist. I was singing for Donnie McClurkin at the time, and I went with Donnie to sing at the McDonald's Gospel Fest. He was a guest artist at the time, and Darlene was one of the judges for the contestants of the McDonald's Gospel Fest. Darlene, Steve Harvey, and all of them. So she saw me singing with Donnie, and she was like, "Oh, you're trying to sing background for real? Like, you trying to be a professional for real?" I said, "Well, that's what I've been trying to do, you know? And at the time that something popped up one day, we were all at dinner after service, me, Bishop Powell, and Darlene and her husband and a few others. And she said, listen, my tenor can't make one of my shows. I got a couple of shows coming up. And the guy that usually sings for me can't make it. He's on the road with Bruce Springsteen. And she said, listen, can you just fill in? I said, I would be honored to fill in. Honored. I said, so just send me the music and I'll learn it and I'll show up. And we did, it was like a small little rehearsal at somebody's house. Like it was so informal. And next thing you know, like I was up at Joe's Pub singing with Darlene Love. And then there was a step out part where I was like singing a duet with her.
Wow.
It's my first show with her. And I was like, this is, but remember at the time, Darlene Love wasn't the Darlene Love to me. She was one of the church members, you know, but I was just glad to be there. And then I messed around and read her book and realized who she really, really was. And next thing you know, the rest is history. I've been singing with Darlene now for going on 12 years.
Wow.
And, you know, I've been her vocal director, you know, been making sure the singers have got it together and helping her with the band and helping her with, you know, producing the show or helping, that is. And she's just been a blessing to work for and a blessing to work with. She's the best boss lady in the world. I mean, hands down. And because of her, I've been able and afforded the opportunity to sing for other artists and other icons that I've grown up loving and listening to. James Taylor, Carole King. You know, I sang at the White House for President Obama, all because I was, oh, that's the guy who sings for Darlene Love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it just opened up so many doors. Ellie Holcomb, Paul Schaefer. You know, I was in a movie with Angela Bassett. You know, like it's all that kind of stuff was just a product of just singing some shoo-wop-shoo-ahs in the background, trying to hold it down for Darlene Love. And so I owe her a great debt of gratitude just for taking me in.
Well, gifted. I tell you, that's the title I put, gifted, right? And I think scripturally says, and your gift will make room for you and bring you before great men.
Yes, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And I mean, tell me a little bit about, I don't know, you know, I know Darlene Love songs, but I mean, I didn't know her until you.
Okay. Darlene's her first single, she was like 19 years old. Believe it or not, Darlene's gonna be 80 years old in like a week and some change.
Wow.
But so she was 1960 something. I think it was 1962. Or yeah. Anyway, she came out with a song under Phil Spector called He's a Rebel. And that was the song that started where, you know, her and the Blossoms. And then some, you know, she was continually on Phil Spector's label, and she had put out quite a few other numbers and quite a few other hits. But the one hit that she is most famously known for is Christmas Baby, Please Come Home.
Yeah.
So, you know, every year on the Letterman show, we were on there singing Christmas Baby, Please Come Home. You know, getting all dressed up, you know, she's standing on top of pianos and saxophone players coming flying out of the ceiling and all that kind of stuff. And I was just sitting there on the Letterman show going, Christmas, just enjoying myself, having a ball, you know, snapping my fingers and singing Christmas. Right. And that's how, you know, that's the Darlene Love show in a gist, you know, but she's just an amazing, amazing artist. And she's been through imagine 50 some plus years in the music business, learning, you know, how to deal and navigate through racial discrimination, you know, profiling, you know, being a woman in all of it as well. So, you know, and then, you know, white musicians and white producers and white managers having to deal with having a black woman as their boss, you know. And so she's an inspiration. Just an inspiration, and I'm so glad that God has given me the opportunity to work for her.
Yeah, awesome, man. Hey, what about that? With all this, you know, all the travel, all the family, all those things. What about pastoring?
But after that, we went to Abundant Life, a Tabernacle of Prayer under Bishop Jasper Roll Jr. And he had a strong deliverance ministry. We had tent revivals and all that stuff. And I'm sure my sister Crystal can remember me being in the house, you know, with one of her hairbrushes, you know, preaching in that microphone.
Yeah.
Laying hands on all her dolls, baptizing them in the. Let me tell you something. I used to fill up the tub and baptize them dolls. So, oh, you going down in Jesus' name today.
You like the baptizing part.
Oh yeah, I used to take them down, Doc. Bring them up. Oh yes. But anyway, I knew then that eventually, you know, the Lord was going to make it happen, or cause it to be that I would pastor. And to be honest with you, I thought that eventually I would pastor Straight Gate. I thought that Bishop Powell was just going to, you know, cause me to succeed him. And long story short is I got invited after 3 years out into Long Island to be a guest speaker for a church who had lost their pastor 3 years prior. So they had been without a pastor for 3 years.
Wow. And
I got there and I preached for 15 minutes. And the founder of the church's daughter, who was 90 something at the time, said, we need a pastor, man. We need a pastor like you. And I said, oh, you don't want a pastor like me, because I'm never moving out here. I'm never moving all the way out here. You drive 15, 20 minutes past my church, you drive into the ocean.
It's scary out there. No, it's scary out there. Oh my
gosh.
And Long Island is long.
Yes, it is long. So I said, I ain't never coming out here. And next thing you know, next month I had agreed to come back twice. And then the next month, 3 months, and then 3 times. And then before you know it, I was out there every Sunday preaching, just hope, you know. And then the bishop came out and asked me and appointed me to be their interim pastor. And wow. I said, perfect. I'll be your interim pastor for 6 months. I'll put that on my resume. When it comes time to be a full-fledged pastor somewhere, I'll be able to prove that I'm able to do this and cope with the pressures and difficulties of being a pastor, because I did an interim pastorate for 6 months. Man, interim pastorate was just like a bait. They were just pulling me in, and next thing you know, I was being installed as the senior pastor of Jefferson Temple, the Life Gate Church in Cutchogue, New York. And it's been this August, next month, August 31st, it'll be 4 years.
Wow.
So I can't even believe it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, congratulations, man. I'm proud of you, man. Yeah, but Long Island, man, it's scary. It's not scary during the day. It's just scary at night. I mean, you could drive off in the ocean and nobody will ever find you. And you
wouldn't even know it until you got wet.
One time, Isaiah used to play wheelchair basketball. We used to go to Nassau. Over there by the Nassau Coliseum and the community college. And one time I missed the exit. You know, I was new going out there. I missed the exit, and somehow I got on this like Jones Beach, and like you driving on a 2-lane and there's water all surround you, and it was winter. And man, you know, I never prayed like that before, but I was praying. Because you know, Isaiah was young. I mean, he's like what 10 or something. I'm like, if we drive off, you know, skid off into the water, they wouldn't know where we went, you know.
Wow.
And there was no way to turn around. You had to wait till you get all the way around, you know, the thing and then turn back around and come back across. I mean, yeah, man, I pray for you.
Keep me in prayer.
Yeah, I will. And quickly, I have been trying to hook you guys up for a long time. I had a good friend of mine. Okay. And I don't know if you know him, Terry Minheim. We grew up together, elementary school together, man. And he's in this Milton. That's Terry Minheim, Milton Vann, and Terry has been a long. We grew up in Bible Way together. Yeah.
Oh wow.
In New Rochelle, in high school, we graduated high school together, man. And he's been in the ministry and the gospel for a long time. And I'll let you tell he's extensive when it comes to gospel music. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Terry. To Milton, I want you guys to meet like for years.
Okay, cool. You can hear me?
Yes, we can.
We can hear you.
Okay, man. I've been just sitting here blown away with this young man, Milton, another product of the famous Boys and Girls Club of Mount Vernon, New York. And hearing that he came up under the Bishop Powell, my good friend Wayne, and all of them. Good roots, son. Good roots, son. Good roots. But about like Lo said, man, we came through elementary school together, and he mentioned the 6th grade teacher telling him he had to go graduate high school, college, and all those things. And that was Miss Williamson, and one of my favorite teachers.
All of our favorite teacher for one reason.
She was cute.
She was not cute. She was beautiful.
Okay. That's what I tell Coach Lee all the time. I tell him that all the time. And he said, "You was something else, huh, weren't you?" But Lowe's has been a long time friend, and I've watched his life. Sometimes when you grow up with people, you don't realize that you're watching them. And even from the 6th grade, we used to bend these hangers and hang them on the doors, and he would throw the ball in and stuff like that. And then we kind of separated during junior high school. I don't know how that happened, but then I came across him again in high school, and I seen that there was a change in his life. And he invited me to come to this youth conference in Peekskill, New York. And if you grew up in Mount Vernon during the time that we did, excuse me, I'm a church boy and I got gum in my mouth. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. But he invited me to come to this youth conference. And growing up in Mount Vernon, you heard evangelism. People evangelized to you. That was a given. But at that time of my life, 9th grade, I guess. And I'm like, man, I'm not getting saved until I get about 80 years old. And Lowe's told me they had that ramp going up from the business section back over into where the classes were. And he says, if you commit to come, I guarantee you the enemy is going to try to stop you. I forgot what the girl's name was, but she was fine. She was so fine. And I was shy. I was really shy. And she walked up to me one day and she says, "We're having a party this weekend and I want to invite you." And I had enough sense to know that that was the enemy, And so I went to the thing in Peekskill, and that's not where I gave my life to the Lord though. But I went there, and where I actually gave my life to the Lord was at the Northside Boys Club, because we would have prayer, and it was there. I said, "Lord, I want to make a change," and that was because I seen Lowe's had made a change in his life, and we were in the same grade, but I looked at him as a brother and a big brother. I seen your mother was on here tonight, if she's still there. Love you, always will love you.
Yeah, she told me to tell Milton hello too.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Hello.
So I gave her life to the Lord.
There she go, right there.
And but I don't know to say. Unfortunately, when you're growing up in the church, sometimes I was being groomed to be the next generation after my pastor, Bishop Odell Lyerly in New Rochelle.
Mm-hmm.
But coming out of high school, I got a young girl pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I didn't know what to do. Didn't know what to do. And so I went to Bishop. I said, Bishop, what do I do? And I went to my dad first. I said, Dad, what do I do? Son, you got to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to Bishop Lowell. He explained the track that he wanted me to be on. I could not have kids out of wedlock. And he encouraged me, put it that way. He encouraged me to get married. And so, I did. Through that, I had 2 children who I love dearly. But most importantly, what I do now, I don't minister in the pulpit that much anymore because I'm really not concerned about that. I'm really trying to, that's me. I'm trying to reach men. And working with gospel artists, you come to realize that those who stand before us and sing, they need someone to minister to them as well. You know, on the real, like someone asked you about touring. You know, when I managed and I used to have artists, because I knew the real of the road. It was myself and someone else. We had keys to everybody's room, and we just show up.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
because see, you're a singer, but you know how those musicians are. And so we just show up because I just didn't want to be associated with any mess.
Yeah.
But now, at this stage in my life, I work with independent artists who make records and who are trying to get to the next level of radio and recognition. Because I'm just getting back from the Stellar Awards. Just got back this morning. I had stopped going to stuff like that years ago, but I went this year. It was great too. It was really, really great. But helping independent artists understand the business. There are so many artists that sing, and there's an artist that anyone who listens to gospel music knows her family, knows her songs. And she called me about 3 years ago and told me, how do I get the rights back to my music? And I was like, because she didn't own the rights, So I work with independent artists, and although I love what I do, it is a job. Because you people who are gifted, you are some moody people, And I love all the pastors, and pastors are some moody people too. But I love what I do. But I'm so impressed. One, because man, you're a product of the Boys and Girls Club of Mount Vernon. I think if they really had a list of everyone who came through the halls of the Boys Club and the Girls Club of Mount Vernon, Boys and Girls Club of Mount Vernon, I mean, it would blow people away. But Milton, man, I'm praying for you. You're part of the legacy of Bishop Powell and Wayne. I was like, wow, and I was like, I never heard of this dude. I haven't seen Wayne now about maybe 5 years, but man, I'm impressed with what you're doing. I'm praying for you. Lowe's, you never know, but if there's anything you may want to know about the business that you may be skeptical about, just give a Lowe's, shoot me a text, shoot me an email. Don't shoot me a text. I read text real late, because see, Lowe's shave, but we got this gray, and it's earned and it's for real. But man, I'm impressed. I'm so impressed how God has taken you from stage to stage, from platform to platform. Man, just keep a yielded life to God, and you haven't seen your best yet. You haven't seen your best yet, So, but Lowe's, thank you for having me on here. I got a lot going on. I'm waiting.
Thank you, sir.
Call from the airlines right now. Take them 4 hours to get back to me. But man, I'm so impressed. And Lowe's, congratulations on your inductions. I said the New York State. Well, what do you call it? Upstate?
Yeah,
Upstate.
it's the New York State. Yeah, upstate basketball
Yeah,
Hall of Fame. Yeah.
congratulations, because people don't know how much you sacrificed.
Mm.
And I was talking to someone just this week. It was because of something on Facebook, and they said, "What was the first airline flight you took?" Can you take a guess, Lowe's?
Nah. What's that? What's the one with the TWA?
Yeah, I was gonna say TWA for me.
Well, not the airline. What was the first flight? The first flight, I don't know what that.
Mine was the Buffalo.
Oh,
I went
mine
to Buffalo.
was. I guess it was to Morgantown, West Virginia.
Oh, man, that's a terrible flight.
Yeah. We came out to give you an award from the church, from the youth department, where I was youth director, and it was a terrible flight, man. But Lowe's, I appreciate your life. I appreciate what you're doing. I like the transition as you left the boys club, and I'm praying for you. And Milton, man, amazing.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. It's an honor to meet you. Thank you for the words of wisdom. I'm looking forward to getting a chance to shake your hand one of these old days.
Yes, sir.
Well, come on. I'm in the Dallas, Texas area. Come on through. Matter of fact, I'm going to talk to the minister of music at my church. I go to Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship, and maybe we can work something out there. I usually don't do it. I don't cross business with my church, but you're alumni of the Boys and Girls Club at Mount Vernon, so that has weight.
Oh, thank God.
Thanks.
All right, man.
Terry, appreciate you, man. Thank you. Yeah, man. That's my good friend Terry. He been in the business, he been in the business for a minute, man. And he's good people. And man, I got one more pop-up person on here. I'm trying to get him on. Well, I'm gonna ask you this question anyway. I got a question for you.
All right.
So two questions. Who is the person that most impacted you the most outside of a family member? And the second question is, no, I'll come to that when after you answer this one, the second one. Who's impacted you most outside of a family member?
Most outside of a family member. That's a hard question to answer,
and it could be more than one.
You know what? I might have to give you a couple of people. My first vocal coach was my pastor's sister, Dana Powell.
Oh yeah.
She was the worship leader. She was the choir director. She was, everything. And I got on her nerves until she took me under her wing. And she, since I'm 7, 8 years old, pulling, hey, can I be in the choir? Hey, can you teach me? Hey, can you, I'm sure there was a few times when she just wanted to smack me upside the back of my head, but she was very, very influential over my approach to music, my approach to worship, my approach to leading worship, my approach to ministry, my approach to preaching, even from a musical standpoint. It was just, she was a huge influence over me and on me. Another influence was a musician and a label executive by the name of Ben Clark. Well, on the business side, he's Jeff Grant, but we knew him affectionately as Ben Clark. And he served as a minister of music at one point at Straight Gate. And to this day is, the Bible says that you have many teachers, but you have not many fathers. And he was a phenomenal influence over me when it came to trying my hand at being an artist and a songwriter and a singer. As far as preaching is concerned, of course, Bishop Wayne Powell and was one of my first well, Bishop Jasper Roll was my first exposure to preaching. But Bishop Wayne Powell had a charisma that to this day is unmatched, in my opinion.
Awesome.
And he was a great influence over me. And then Pastor Carlton C. Sproul is a father in ministry to me, who launched me, who just, in spite of my lack of discipline as a preacher, continued to push me and toss me out there. You know what I mean? He wouldn't let me get devoured by the wolves. He would snatch me back before I could get devoured. But he wanted me to get a taste of it. He taught me to chase the fire of preaching and chase the fire of the anointing as I preached. And I'll never forget him for that. I owe him a great deal because of it.
Awesome.
I'll stop there. I ain't finished, but I'll stop.
Yeah, I got a couple of people to pop on here.
All right.
Well, we can pop on. Yeah, we can go ahead and pop them on. Let's see here.
Oh boy, who's this coming on up in here?
Oh, well, I was. Come on. Uh-oh.
Hey,
Uncle Gordon.
Okay, I'm not the greatest when it comes to this technology stuff, but I'm here now.
Oh boy.
So you got two cousins in the house. Yeah.
Uncle Gordon is in the house.
Uncle Gordon.
Yes.
Treese on here too as well.
Hi, cuz. How you doing?
Hey, cuz. What's up?
I'm doing good.
Good to see you. Listen, that's my man right there, Pastor Milton. He already knows.
Oh my God.
He already knows. When he first started, man, we're doing the voices of Emmanuel. I could always call on him, and he would be my special guest soloist every time we had a concert. And people would be like, "How you getting Milton?" I said, "That's my baby right there."
Oh man.
Yep.
I appreciate that. I do. I really do, because you would always make us special.
Yeah, and recently we were in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Gordon has moved there, so we had the privilege to go have dinner with him and his wife in Charlotte. And,
we were honored to have you.
Man, we were honored to be there. So you guys got anything you want to say to Milton before?
Well, I'm gonna let Gordon go quickly.
Okay. How you doing there, nephew-in-law? You okay?
Hey, Uncle Gordon, I'm cool. I'm hanging in there.
Okay. I typed in a comment earlier on where you made reference to Charlotte going after and chasing you. You know you're gonna have to answer for that.
I said that too. I was like, "Woo!"
Mm-hmm. He said, "You got to go home."
That's it.
Yeah. Well, I'm always answering for something. So, I'm here. I'm in it. Let's do it.
Yes. And how'd the Saints at Jefferson Temple? Everybody's okay?
Doing well. And matter of fact, I saw some of them on, and they were commenting. Yes. So it was good to see them. Yeah, they're doing well.
I recall when we first drove out to the church out there, I thought I was gonna fall off the end of the earth. I know the Lord said that the earth is round, but I was kind of convinced that it was flat. We were gonna drive off the edge.
Wow.
But we had a really, really great time. We were out there with you, and Milton knows that he is very, very, very special to my wife. She just loves everything he does, in terms of his music, in terms of his ministry. And I just want to encourage you in the Lord. And your comments concerning marriage. Marriage is work. That's all there is to it, and what you'll find is that as you all continue to submit yourselves to one another in the Lord, that you'll be more than 50% down the road. I'd like to just encourage you and to make a point, and this is just my personal point. I'm not trying to say this is from on high, but your first ministry is your family. It's your wife and your children. It is not, and I'm not trying to distract from your calling as a minister and as a pastor. But the word is very, very clear that a man that does not take care of his own household, his wife and his children, is worse than an infidel. So, and that's some pretty strong, that's some pretty harsh language. You minister to your wife, you minister to your children first. And I remember my former pastor, Bishop Dominic New Love Alate in Mount Vernon. He says, you know what? Before there was the church, before there was the tabernacle, before there was the temple, before there was Holy Communion, before there was anything that we define as being part of the church itself, God created the family. Family was created first. And when we keep that in its proper perspective and understand that it's not just love, it's respect. Respect is as important, if not more important than love, then you're going to be all right, you know.
I noticed, Milton,
humbling and submitting yourself to one another is crucial. You do it, you're going to be okay. You don't do it, forget it.
Milton, Pastor, I noticed that your uncle said 3 or 4 times children. I know that every time I bring that up to you, you kind of give me that little face. So, you know, I know when my little cousin is ready to do what she got, you know, she wants to do. But I'm just saying, I'm looking forward to, you know, for that next generation of comedian, you know, gospel singing comedian coming forth. But you know, I'm really, I'm happy for you. I'm very proud of you. I have always been very proud of you. You know that you have a special place in my heart, and I love all the songs. But you know that my favorite is Adonai, and I love it. And I don't know what it is about it that, you know. And I always ask you, what are the words? You know, what are the words you're speaking in? Was it Hebrew? Or Hebrew. Is it in Hebrew? And can you just say the words in Hebrew for me really quickly? I like the way it sounds.
Okay, let me see if I remember them all. Micha mocha, Bayelim Adonai, Micha mocha, Nedarba Kodesh.
Oof.
Yeah, that's the beginning of it anyway.
And what is
no Norak Tehilot.
Yes.
Osei Fele. All right, it was basically telling the story of Moses and his triumph, him and Israel's triumph over Egyptian captivity. And then the second verse goes on to talk about how Miriam danced and they all sang, "Who is like the Lord?"
And how did you come up with those words to come forth in the Hebrew to fit the way it did? How did that come about?
I didn't write the song. It's written by a man named Josh Nelson, who I was on a small miniature tour with another Jewish artist, and they were singing some duets at the time. I heard the song one time and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this song. And I decided that I wanted to cover it and do my own arrangement of it. And then I recorded it. And then the other person that's singing with it on the album is the man who wrote it, Josh Nelson.
Okay.
And then I went and got Rabbi Serkman and Bishop Powell to kind of narrate it, to kind of culminate, you know, a lot of my exposure to the Christian Jewish fellowship that I was exposed to as a young man 20 something years ago. Larchmont Temple and Straight Gate Church were fellowshipping once a year at the very least for some 20, 21, 22 years.
Well, I appreciate you, man. I want to we got about a minute here, 1 minute, and I want to ask you this last question, man. I want you to say something to give some words of encouragement to some young people out there, or some advice to some young people out there that may be listening, or a parent that may be able to share what you say with their children.
You know what? I'll give you my life sermon. At least it's the one life sermon today. Don't focus so much on being, focus more on becoming. God is the same God who calls you to be is the same God who calls you to become. And you don't have to be afraid of the process of becoming. You're going to fall. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to twist things up. You're going to jack it up sometimes. But God is the same God who calls you to be, is the same God who calls you to become. You don't walk in fear. Don't walk in resentment. Just focus on becoming the man you're supposed to be, the woman you're supposed to be, the pastor, the singer, the drummer, the floor sweeper, the husband, the wife, the whoever you're called to be. God also gives you the strength and the grace to become.
Amen.
Awesome, man. So Milton, I want to say, man, I love you, man.
I love you right back.
You, man. And I really enjoyed this time with you, and thanks a lot for taking time out your busy schedule and spending some time with me.
No, it's an honor. It's an honor. I'm glad that we got a chance to do it.
Yes, sir.
I love you, Milton.
Thank you so much. I love you too, Tracy.
And I love you, cuz.
I love you all too.
So to all those
love you, Uncle Gordon,
who were patient tonight, we started a little bit late because of some technical difficulties, but I want to thank you for your support. I want to say I love you and God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a wonderful, blessed week.
All right. Thank you, Pastor. All right. Bye-bye.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Lowe's More, the BluePrint podcast. Stay connected and follow us at our website, www.lowesmore.com. That's LOWESMOORE.com. You can also join the discussion on Twitter at Lowe's More and on Facebook at Lowe's More Jr. As always, thank you for pushing your mindset towards a better reality. This concludes the most thought-provoking portion of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast to stay fully up to date with everything we're up to. Until next time, be kind to yourself and each other.